Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Enzo Maresca updates us on Caicedo's injury ahead of Sunday's final. Enzo Fernandez and Joao Pedro were interviewed after the game last night and they had some interesting things to say. We also have some updates regarding Noni Madueke and Renato Veiga. We now know how much Chelsea have made so far from the Club World Cup, and Donald Trump is going to be involved in Sunday's final. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. Kicking things off, DAZN has reported what Maresca said about Caicedo, and he said, "I told Caicedo he has to do everything to be on the pitch on Sunday." Nizar Kinsella also reported part of Enzo Maresca's interview where he said Enzo Maresca confirms that Dario Asugo had a muscular problem and Moises Caicedo twisted his ankle. Maresca added about Caicedo, "We told him the important thing was not to play more in case it got worse." Now, I'm going to be honest, Chelsea fans, it was euphoric last night. It was such a dominating performance. Joao Pedro had an incredible game. We're going to speak about him later on in the video, so make sure you keep watching. Two unbelievable goals from this guy that we didn't expect, let's be honest, but sent us through a very solid performance. The one concerning thing is right near the end of the game that Moises Caicedo picked up an injury and he went down, he received treatment, he then went off the pitch and he was walking off the pitch and we were like, okay, maybe it's not as bad as we thought. He then comes back on the pitch, goes down again, receives treatment, and we had to see out the last few minutes without him. That was the worrying thing, because Moises Caicedo is made of elastic. We know this, right? I don't know what his joints are made of. This guy's indestructible. So for him to go down twice in a period of a couple of minutes and really be in pain and then obviously having to come off due to injury was very, very concerning. We are in the Club World Cup final this Sunday against either Real Madrid or PSG. And if we are without Moises Caicedo, that is very concerning. Now, I'm not panicking too much, because we've seen Caicedo bounce back from injuries very, very quickly. He seems to be a very resilient player in that sense. He doesn't get injured very often, if ever, and when he does, he seems to bounce back quickly. So I'm not overly concerned. The one thing that adds to my concern a little more is that Dario Asugo had a muscular problem, which means he's not fit, ready, available. He potentially could be for Sunday, but we also know Romeo Lavia isn't fit and ready. So we now have no Asugo currently. Moises Caicedo is, question marks, may be available, may not be, and Romeo Lavia still isn't fit. That is 3 out of the 4 potential players that can play in that position. The good thing, or the silver lining about that, is that does leave André Santos an open chance to start the final. And look, a lot of Chelsea fans have been screaming for André Santos to get more minutes. He was fantastic when he came on and played in replacement of Moises Caicedo. He was unbelievable. But do we think that André Santos is ready to do the Caicedo role against a Real Madrid or a PSG in a final? That's my only thing that makes me think, are we going to be okay midfield-wise, or are we going to struggle a little bit? Could this go against us? Obviously, it's the luck of the draw. We are hoping and praying that Caicedo, recovers from a twisted ankle and he'll be okay and fine to play on Sunday, because honestly, he's one of the best DMs in the world right now, and him and Enzo work perfectly together. Not saying that the other players can't do a job, because they definitely can, but it's not going to be at Caicedo level. André Santos came in and did it to Caicedo's level, and it was super impressive. If he could replicate a performance like that against a PSG or a Real Madrid, unbelievable. Play him every game, because that's a massive, massive ask for anyone to have a player who has just come back from loan, learning the tactics, adapting to the system, who has played limited minutes. He's also had a full game where he has played, but it's still relatively new to him. Now, we know that his skill level, he's an unbelievable player. We know that. That's not the dispute here. It's just because of the size of the game, the circumstance of it. Are we going to be trusting André Santos to go in there and do it? I mean, I would trust him to do that. I think he's fully capable. I just think it could be quite overwhelming to be like, all right, Caicedo's out, Asugo's out, Lavia's not fit. Right, Andre, you're going to have to go in there. You're going to have to do Caicedo's role against a Real Madrid or a PSG. Could just be quite daunting for him. I'm hoping that it isn't. I'm still, very, very confident in his ability to do so. But it is quite concerning going into the biggest game of this tournament, potentially without Caicedo. That's the only thing. So I'm hoping and praying that Caicedo is fit, raring to go for that game, because if we don't have him, it looks like we have replacements for sure, but will they be able to perform to Caicedo's level on that sort of magnitude of game? Very curious to know your thoughts down below regarding Moises Caicedo. Do you feel like he will be fit and raring to go for Sunday because this guy is pretty much made of elastic? Or do you feel like we're going to have to rely on someone like André Santos if Lavia, Asugo and Caicedo are not ready for that game? And do you feel confident that Santos can come in and do that job to Caicedo's standard? It's been reported what Chelsea have made so far from the Club World Cup prize money, and this is what it is. It's £25 million estimate for entering the tournament. The group stage wins were £3 million apiece. The round of 16 was £5.8 million. The quarter-final was £10.1 million. The semi-finals last night was £16.2 million, and being a finalist gets you £23.2 million. That's £83.3 million so far, and obviously you get more prize money if you go on and lift the trophy. Kieran Gill has reported what Maresca said on making fat stacks of money in this tournament. He said, "I don't prepare games thinking if we win, we have more money. We have a clear idea about where the squad can be improved for next season, and hopefully that can happen." Now, there's two sides to this, right? It's an unbelievable tournament for generating revenue. We can see that. £83 million. That's basically covered Delap and, nearly all of Pedro's sign-on fee already, just from the tournament. And they're the two players we bought to play in this tournament, who have played in this tournament. I find that absolutely wild. Obviously, we've got the UEFA fine. It covers that too. Like, there is so much. If we go on and win it, it's even more. It takes us up to around 92 to £100 million in prize money, which is absolutely wild when you think about it. But I love the fact that they asked Maresca, "What are you thinking about making fat stacks?" I just think that's hilarious. And I completely agree with what Maresca's saying. From his perspective, he shouldn't even care about the finances. That's not his job. His job is to get the team to play the best that they can be, to get results on the pitch, and develop this squad into something special. And we're slowly seeing this game by game. We're playing better and better, look more solid, look more unified. We're flowing so much more freely. The attacking side of things, we're being more clinical. We're defending better as a unit. It just looks so promising. And next season is going to be incredible, knowing that we've got Jamie Gittins to be added into this squad and Willian Esteval as well. Sorry, Esteval William to be added in as well. So those two players coming into this squad that are currently playing like this, it's an exciting time to be a Chelsea fan. But when it comes to the Club World Cup earnings, I find it just... Look, people are saying, rival fans are saying that it's just a glorified pre-season. And to be fair, at the start of the tournament, it had that sort of aura and feel around it in the group stage games. But as the games have gone on, it's got a lot more serious. And these teams really want to be doing everything they can to go as far in the tournament as possible. And yes, you can argue that Chelsea had an easier route. Of course, that's undeniable. We have had an easier route. But that's not down to just us being lucky. It's also the results-driven from the tournament, right? Other big teams have gone out early at stages. Atletico, Man City, Juventus. You've also got the likes of other group stage results resulting in, Bayern Munich finishing second in their group rather than top, as they were predicted. Chelsea finishing second in their group rather than top, or vice versa. There's a lot of sort of elements that have kind of gone into the legs and the route of the final, and Chelsea have found themselves in the favourable side of it, and we've made the most of it. We've taken advantage of that. We still had tough games. You can only play who's in front of you, but we managed to get to another final. And again, we're going to have either Real Madrid or PSG in the final. It's going to be a monumental game, but knowing that. Obviously, we want to go and win it. It'd be unbelievable to call ourselves world champions for 4 years. That'd be unbelievable. But also the financial side of it, we made so much money from this that it's unfathomable for a tournament over 7 games, potentially if you go all the way, to be making nearly £100 million. It's wild. There's also one more thing I want to add about the Club World Cup final this Sunday. The Athletic have reported that US President Donald Trump will be at the FIFA Club World Cup final on Sunday. Okay, pretty normal. They then go on to say that President Trump also tells the reporters he will be delivering the trophy as it's in his office. Random Trump appearance, right? He's going to be delivering the Club World Cup trophy to the final. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. I just think that obviously it's a final. They're trying to make this as a big tournament, through FIFA. Of course, you're going to have, if it was in the UK, you'd have some of the royalty, or you'd have politicians and whatnot, high-profile people, of course, from all walks of life. Like we do at Wimbledon every year, you always get high-profile people there as well. So it doesn't surprise me that Trump is going to be at the final. I just love how he's like, yeah, I'm coming to the final Sunday and I'm going to bring the trophy with me. I just thought it was just something I would love to react to you guys with. I just thought it was funny the way it's kind of just been reported. Yeah, it makes sense he's going to be there. But he's like, trophy's in my office, man. I'm going to bring it with me. Don't worry. I'm going to be there Sunday. I won't be late. I'll bring the trophy with me. So I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions around the Club World Cup in total. Do you think this is going to be a really bright and big future for this tournament? It is every 4 years. Do you think it will go on to become something prestigious? Trying to take your bias out of it. Obviously, we are all Chelsea fans here. So obviously we care about it a lot more because we're in it and we're in another final. Of course, we want to win it on Sunday against PSG or Real Madrid. Let me know who you'd rather face in the final in the comments below as well. And then what do you think about Donald Trump hand delivering the trophy for Sunday to be there? Let me know your thoughts down below. Sporty TV have reported what Thiago Silva said after the game last night. He said, "It was a special game because I spent 4 years there. I lived a fantastic life with them. I did not imagine that 1 year later I will play Chelsea. For me, it was really hard, but I enjoyed playing against my friends." I kind of feel for Thiago Silva. It was such an emotional sort of meet up, I suppose. It was like, the romanticized, the emotional side of the story, the narrative behind this fixture, right? Thiago Silva, cult legend, club legend, whatever you want to call him. He means a lot to us Chelsea fans. He was an integral member of that dressing room and of the club, and we hope that he comes back to Chelsea in a coaching role or a management role in years to come. That'd be amazing to see because he loves the club so much, and we treated him as he treated us, right? He played with so much passion. He bleeds blue. But it must have been a weird feeling for him. Going back to Fluminense, where everything started for him, where everything's going to be finishing for him when if he hangs his boots up, etc. To then play the club that you left after 4 years, yeah, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster and whatnot. And I feel for him because obviously his team didn't go through, but at the same time, we meant business. It was nice, shake hands, yeah, we'll have a laugh and a joke, but we got a job to do. We're gonna go through to the final. And I'm glad that we did. Fluminense played well. They tried being very well packed when it comes to being defensive, but Chelsea just had the edge. We had the edge over the game, and I kind of feel for Thiago in that sense. But again, I just wanted to kind of react to that with you because from an emotional standpoint, it was like, oh, what if he got a consolation goal? It would be really nice as like a, just been a cherry on top to the night, if it means that Chelsea go through, but Thiago also scored as well, which is really nice to see for us fans. I'm glad that we got a clean sheet, if I'm being honest, but I also understand the sentiment. And yeah, Thiago Silva, it was really nice after the game, seeing him sort of speaking to everyone, all the players, and Maresca and whatnot. And it was just a really nice moment to see. And I like things like that when it happens in football. We like the emotional side of it, the sort of, what's it called? The narrative, the storytelling behind it. It just adds a whole different layer to Chelsea Football Club and football in general. That's what football's about: memories and connections. So yeah, I'm glad that. He even said it was hard, but I enjoyed playing against my friends. Imagine being Thiago Silva, being in that position. That must be a very weird sensation to be going through. Of like, I'm here to do a job with my team, and I love this team, but I'm also playing against my friends in a knockout competition where there's a lot at stake. It wasn't a pre-season friendly, as people keep trying to tell us. So yeah, I just thought it was very interesting to talk about. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below against regarding Thiago Silva. Would you like to see him back at Chelsea in a coaching role? Would you like to see him back at Chelsea full stop? And do you resonate with what he said in this post-match interview? Did you see all the after-match things? What are your thoughts on it? I thought it was a lovely moment, and I'm glad that it was like a happy ending for Chelsea, but also Thiago Silva, it was also like a nice send-off and like a cut-off from Chelsea in terms of this competition. Sporty TV also reported what Enzo Fernandez said after the game, and he said, "It doesn't make a difference to me, PSG or Real Madrid. It will be who it has to be. We will stick to our game plan and try and carry it out on Sunday." I absolutely love this new mentality and mindset within the dressing room. I absolutely love it. Whether it's the mentality coach that we hired, whether it's Maresca, whether it's just an amalgamation of the team playing longer together and understanding, all being on the same page and pulling in the same direction. I don't care what it is. The Colwell comments that have come out, the Reece James comments that have come out, things like this coming out from Enzo Fernandez. This team are developing a monster mentality of winners. Knowing what it means to play for Chelsea, to be winning at the highest level, to be winning every game, to be playing for each other, fighting for each other, executing what the manager wants the team to do and doing it to a very high standard. And I love this Enzo didn't fall into any bait. Like, we can have this conversation as fans. Who would we rather play? Me personally, out of the two, Real Madrid on current form, because PSG right now are currently the best team in the world. But like Enzo said, it's going to be who it's going to be. We just have to turn up and try and do our thing and try and secure a trophy. But as a player, he's not falling into that bait of going, oh, I'd rather this or this. He's like, I don't care who it is. We turn up, we play our football, we get the result, we win a trophy. That is huge. These players are locked in. They are absolutely locked in, and I love to see it. The only concern I have, which again, we'll kind of find out over time, is will Chelsea burn out at a certain stage of the season from a lack of pre-season because we've gone all the way to the final? This could have gone completely different. We could have gone out at group stages or round of 16 or quarterfinals. These players could be on a break right now and then trying to prepare for pre-season in the new season. The way it's going is we can go all the way. We can go all the way Sunday. We can go all the way. We're playing the same amount of time as the other finalists, right? So we've gone all the way. The time frame of rest, recuperation, and then back into training is going to be very, very minimal for these players. It's going to be interesting to see if we do have a burnout. Start the season, midway through the season, second half of the season, or if we don't at all. There may be other ways that we can try and keep fit and keep the players ticking over in a nice way throughout the competitions, because there's a lot of games to be played. But I like this mentality. We are locked in. And like I said, every game that we're playing, we're getting better and better. And you can see it's just ticking and clicking all in the right places. It's going to be an exciting season for us Chelsea fans next season. And Sunday, I'm super looking forward to it. Another final, man. Maresca in his second final under his tenure. Hopefully we can go all the way and secure the Club World Cup. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding what Enzo Fernandez has said and Chelsea's mentality now. Chelsea's mentality and how it's changed with Colwell comments of we're here to win. We know what it takes to win. If you don't want to be here, bye. We only want to work with players that want to be here, want to thrive to be the best, want to be the best. Reece James's comments as well. Enzo Maresca's comments around this mentality. Are Chelsea building a mentality monster? Is it starting to play out in the right way? DAZN also reported what Joao Pedro said in his interview, and he said, I play for Chelsea. They pay me to score goals. Today, I was happy to score, even if it was against Fluminense. I think it was a dream first start. I don't think it could be better. 2 goals. Now we need to think about the final. I'm very happy to score 2 goals today. Now, this man needed... I think he probably got a standing ovation when he was there. He got a standing ovation on my live watch along. This guy absolutely tore up trees yesterday with 2 unbelievable goals. And again... I like what he's saying. He's got fight, determination, grit. He puts himself about. He presses. He can finish. His ball striking is what we've been missing for years. What we've been crying out for. What we've been suffering without for years. This guy scored 2 absolute peaches. Now, I break down that match review in a previous video I uploaded early hours of this morning. So feel free to check that out if you haven't seen it, where we go into Joao Pedro a bit more detail. But I want to speak about the interview and the types of way he presents himself in the press, because I really, really like this. No one was expecting the finishes that Joao Pedro had last night. Let's be honest, we weren't expecting that. It took us by surprise, but my God, are we all for it. If you can perform like that consistently, that would be unbelievable. You are already a Chelsea legend. I don't want to get too carried away because it was his debut. And if you think, cast your minds back a few seasons, Jackson had an incredible pre-season. I know it's different circumstances, but we did think Jackson is the man, right? And then obviously we went through the season and thought, right, he's still got to learn a bit. He's got a lot of learning to do. He's got to develop his game. This season, again, very turbulent season. And now a lot of Chelsea fans are done with him. They're like, nope, you ain't got a chance. You've got Joao Pedro as number 1, Delap as the second, and Jackson, you've got to be fighting for that 3rd place spot. Guiu might be coming and taking that, So it's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out. And a lot of players, a lot of fans, including myself, are very frustrated with Jackson's performance in terms of how selfish he was. You could see he was trying, but he just got a little bit flustered. He looked like he was in too deep. He doesn't know what to do. He's not had this competition for a number of seasons now. But with Joao Pedro and the way he handles himself on the pitch, off the pitch, I very much like this. It's very Diego Costa-esque. Man of minimal words, does his talking on the pitch. And I tell you what, if he can strike the ball, I'm not even saying that he needs to continue to score 2 goals a game, etc., or even 1 goal a game. But the way he put himself about, the way he was very clinical in the final third, whether he's creating chances. We saw this in his cameo of his first substitute appearance. He wasn't trying to shoot. He was trying to set up a play for other players. He was getting his link-up play involved. Hold-up play was good. If he just continues to perform this way, mate, what an absolute gem. And I will say, when we first signed Joao Pedro, I was like, I don't really know what to think. I want him to do well, but I don't really know what type of player he is. Is he a 9? Is he a 10? Is he a winger? Is he like a Havertz style player that kind of plays in a myriad of positions? I don't really know how it's going to work, but I want it to work. And mate, if it's going to be like that, we are in for an absolute treat, Chelsea fans, because that's unbelievable. If he could do something like that on Sunday, we would be absolutely cooking, and he will go down in Chelsea's history books. But I would love to know your thoughts and opinions about Joao Pedro's performance last night, and where you think he's going to go and take Chelsea next season. Do you feel like this type of performance can continue? Will he be Chelsea's main number 9 over a long period of time? Or will he play a different role under Enzo Maresca? BILD have reported that Bayern Munich are eyeing up a potential move of 35 million euros for Chelsea defender Renato Veiga. It is understood that scouts have been watching him for a number of weeks, with Bayern viewing Veiga as a replacement for Kim Min-jae. I think it's Kim Min-jae, Kim Min-jiao. Apologies if I got that wrong. I find this very interesting. Bayern Munich coming in for Christopher Nkunku. They want to pick up Renato Veiga. Both very good players in their own right when they're playing at the heights. Obviously, Renato Veiga played well for us. We loaned him out. He had a good loan spell at Juventus as well. He hit the ground running. He did have a bit of an injury. And personally, I would keep Renato Veiga. I think he still has a place in the squad. But if the writing's on the wall, Chelsea want to sell him for a profit. It's just going to happen. Bayern Munich, start tapping us up. First Nkunku, now Veiga. I'd take that, 35 million euros for Renato Veiga. The board would be very happy with that. And if we are going to sell him, as much as I don't want to, if we are going to sell him, which it looks like we are, I'd take 35 million. We bought him for like 16 million. So that's like doubling our money in a season for Renato Veiga. I think he's an incredible player. Again, Swiss Army knife player. He can play left back, centre back, as a number 6. Does all those roles very well to a high standard. Veiga has made it explicitly clear that he wants to play centre back, and that's fine. That just doesn't fit into Enzo Maresca's plans. In all honesty, if we was to keep him, I would use him as a left-back cover for Cucurella or in that holding 6 role when needed, as well as centre-back when we're having a bit of rotation. So I get it. And I think what Maresca probably thinks in a similar vein in terms of how he would utilise him, because he has his back 4 that he likes to use. But I do not disagree with this move. If Bayern Munich want to come in and spend 35 million euros on him, I'm all for it. I think it's a very good move. He goes away to the Bundesliga. I think he'll play very well over in the Bundesliga. He played well in the Italian league. I think this is a good move for him. The one thing I'm a bit curious about is they said they've been watching him for weeks. Well, he's been at Cobham for weeks. So it's just a bit of a strange thing, right? We're just watching our players train. As I was reading, I was like, that's just a bit strange because you've not been actively playing football, right? You might have had some international games prior to the Club World Cup, but that was, like a month ago, right? So unless they're at Cobham just chilling and got their clipboards out saying, he's a good player. I don't know what they mean by that, unless they mean it's actually for a longer period of time. Regardless, it looks like Bayern Munich are eyeing up a move for 2 Chelsea players, Christopher Nkunku and Renato Veiga. And to be honest, the Nkunku one's a bit different for me because I've spoke about this many times. The writing's on the wall that he needs to leave. But the way he's performing in this Club World Cup, it's almost like he's playing his way back into the Chelsea starting 11 and back into this team. And he looks like he wants to be here. However, he could just be trying to raise his profile to get that move away by playing better. I don't know. I don't think there's any malicious intent from him. He's just playing good football, and it's just nice to see the Nkunku of old, of like, wow, okay, now we're really starting to see what you can bring to the table like you did at Leipzig. Obviously, he's not scoring as many goals or assisting as many goals, but his work rate and what he's trying to do for the team, and he's working with the team, it's just very, very nice to see. But I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Renato Veiga. Do you think Bayern Munich for 35 million euros is a good deal for both parties? Would you like to keep Veiga as a backup for one of our players, whether it is Cucurella or in that 6 role, or even as a centre-back in rotation? Very curious to know your thoughts regarding Renato Veiga. I think he's a very good player, and like I said, I can see him being sold this summer. 35 million euros is an absolute top draw amount for him when you consider that we bought him for 16 million only a season ago. But I'm very curious to know your thoughts down below. Fabrizio Romano has reported that Arsenal have direct talks with Chelsea soon to discuss the Noni Madueke deal. There's a gap in valuation between clubs, but the negotiations will now follow to understand if/how to proceed. Noni Madueke has agreed a 5-year contract with Arsenal as revealed. And Matt Law has reported that Arsenal have made background checks on Noni Madueke with Chelsea braced for a direct approach for the winger from their London rivals. Talks up to this stage are taking place through intermediaries. I think that's how you say that word. Again, writings on the wall for Noni Madueke. You could even see last night, he looked very confused. He was happy that we went through, but it looks like he's off. So, again, agreeing personal terms. Now we know it's for a 5-year deal, which is interesting because he has 5 years left on his current Chelsea contract. So I just find that very interesting in terms of how the numbers line up. We don't know the supposed wages that have been offered. We know that it's under a similar structure as Chelsea, so it's very similar wages. So it's not for financial gain really. It's probably more to go to a more stable club that have finished second for the last few seasons and to get more game time, because I feel like he feels threatened with Esteval coming in, signing Gittins. Maybe he doesn't feel like he'll get as much game time as he feels he deserves. But you have to imagine being Noni Madueke for a second. A lot of Chelsea fans are done with him already just for the talks because they're like, London rivals, we're done, don't snake us. And I hear that, I get that, right? But imagine being Noni Madueke for a second. You are potentially about to leave the current world champions of football. And when these talks started, we were still just going through the tournament. But now there is a 50-50 chance that after Sunday, Noni could be leaving the World Club Cup champions. Yeah, World Club Cup champions. How bizarre is that to be like, I want to move to Arsenal. It's better for my career, long-term, game time, blah, 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 more sustainable club, whatever it may be. Or maybe just he doesn't get on with the people behind the scenes. There's still a lot of stuff we probably don't know about this. Maybe it's just he wants to change, he wants to challenge. Fair enough, whatever it may be. But imagine if we win on Sunday, he's then leaving the current world champions to go to Arsenal. And I just find that hilarious. Because you could even see last night he was enjoying the celebrations. He's still part of this team and he wants to give his best. And I respect that for any footballer. You still have to be professional while you're under contract. And I respect that. Some professionals down tools and they're like, nope, not interested. And I hear it. I hear from both sides. But I will always respect the person that's going to, honour their contract, honour their word, do what they say they're going to deliver on, right? But you could see even he looked very confused. When he came on yesterday, he didn't really do a lot. Like I thought, I even said in my match review, like I didn't hear his name mentioned. I think he struggled to get into the game really. And I don't think it's his fault. It's just the way the game was playing when he was introduced. Couldn't make an impact. But it looks like it's getting closer and closer to have these direct conversations. We know that Arsenal want to pay 40 million. We know that Chelsea value at 50 million. There is a 10 million gap in valuation. But Madueke has agreed a 5-year deal on similar wages to what he's currently on. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with this. It looks like it's going to happen after this Club World Cup. It will probably be one of the first deals that Arsenal want to get over the line once we are finished this Club World Cup saga, because we'll have more time to negotiate. And if it's going through, I can never say this word, intermediaries or whatever it may be, at this stage they want to have the club-to-club discussions. Obviously it's going to make more sense after Sunday's final, but it'd be very interesting. How much do you think that Noni Madueke would go for? Do you think that Chelsea are going to buckle and go for 40 million, meaning we only make minimal profit, like 8 million profit on him, 5 million profit on him? Or do you think Arsenal are willing to stump up more cash and go closer to that 50 million valuation? Will it be one of these deals where it's like 45 million and 5 million in add-ons, or 46 million and 4 million add-ons, or whatever it may be? Very curious to know your thoughts about the whole Noni Madueke saga down below in the comments. What do you think that final fee will be? Do you think Chelsea will buckle or Arsenal will spend more money? Very curious to know your thoughts. And that's the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one. And I mean that, you're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure to click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.